The purpose of this video is to review over the various anatomical structures associated with the human eye. As with any anatomy study, one should always look at the various models to determine what structures are present on that specific model and at what extent are the structures present. We will begin with the model on the left. When we look at the model of the eye, the first thing we want you to be aware of is the white of the eye is the sclera. Now, within this structure of the eye, one of the things we're seeing layers cut away. So here we have the sclera cut away, and that will reveal the choroid layer, and it will also reveal the retina. In addition, on this particular model, various muscles of the eye are present. Right here, we have our lateral rectus muscle. We have our superior rectus muscle. We will turn this around. We will have the medial rectus muscle. Right in here, we see the beginning of the trochlear nerve. Spin this back around. We will see the optic nerve. At the front of the eye, we see the clear covering of the eye, which is the cornea. The color of the eye being the iris. It's composed of 2 layers of smooth muscle, and the coloration and the patterns that we see are formed before birth. The opening is the pupil. Now if we take this and we remove the top of this model off, looking on the internal structure, we will see the ciliary body. Again, we will see the retina. Notice the high vascularization of the retina. Also, notice that when we look at this model, that the optic nerve enters the eye, and that nerve forms the thin retinal sheath. Now, within the retina, we have 2 photoreceptor cells. Those are called the rods and the cones. The cones are present for color and visual acuity. This area right here that we're looking at is the optic disc. With the optic disc, we have no rods or cones present, so that's known as the blind spot of the eye. Right here we have the highest concentration of cones only, and so that's the highest area of visual acuity. It's called the fovea centralis. Moving over to the other side of the model, one of the structures we'll see is the lens. Now the lens is composed of protein fibers, so if we were to do an actual dissection and we were to take the lens and break it apart, we would see protein fibers within the lens. The lens is the only part of the human body that cannot get cancer. Now this structure right here is representing the vitreous humor of the eye. The vitreous humor, it looks more like Spam jello. It helps to maintain the ocular pressure and keep the eye round. We're going to remove that, and again, what we will see in this area is if we move in closer, we look at the model, right here we would have the sclera, right here we would have the choroid, or the dark layer, and then we would have the retina. Again, we have the optic disc, the optic nerve, the fovea centralis. Moving this around, and we see the ciliary bodies. Now if we move on over to this next model, with this model, what we're going to see is right back here in the back, we have our optic nerve. This right here clearly shows us the trochlear nerve. Then we have our superior rectus, our median rectus, our inferior rectus. We'll turn this around. And then we'll have the lateral rectus muscle here. If this was to continue over and then down to the bottom, it would form the inferior oblique. And if this continued backwards, it would form, and you would see the superior oblique. We'll take this and open this up. Now with this particular model, what we see here is, again, we'll see the corneas, this area. We'll see the opening or the pupil, the retina. The choroid is represented right here in black. We'll take that off. We've got the lens present. We have, again, representing the vitreous humor. On this model, we have the optic nerve entering, so the optic disc. The fovea centralis is represented by purple. This peach color is the retina. We'll take that out. We'll see the other side is the choroid. Right along here we have our ciliary bodies. Now the ciliary bodies are going to function to help maintain the shape of the lens for focusing. So review over the various structures of the eye. If you have any questions, just drop by my classroom. Have a wonderful day.